Hi everyone, it's Lisa. We are up close and personal with the sewing bed of my 1946 Kenmore. Um, this is a workhorse in my sewing room. I do most of my piecing on this machine, and I'm going to tell you why. This first off has an unusual assembly, or you may find it so. It's not terribly unusual for machines of this age, but it's got a collar, and this collar is is what you slip this through. So this just kind of, a fork goes in here and you lock it down and it stays straight. This is my the foot that I use to sew with, and it is a right at the edge. It's a perfect scant 1/4 inch. I use this beautifully machined seam guide that screws into the bed in a couple of places, and it stays put, and it feeds my material through very well. It doesn't move, and I can get once I set my seam gauge, I am good to go. And this has some unusual and very efficacious features that I want to share with you. Because it's a straight stitch machine, it has a single hole. It does go forward and backward, but it has a single hole and nothing ever gets sucked down into it. Now I'm going to ask you to contemplate the feed dog system for a minute and think about how that might be different from the machine that you have. It happens to be different in 2 ways. Way number 1 is the profile of these feed dogs, which you can't see through what I'm showing you here. Let me see if I can get in a little bit closer for you without it getting too crazy. The profile is, these are very deep. These are very deep ridges. So it pulls it grabs the fabric very well and pulls it backwards. And the other really interesting feature is it has a set of middle feed dogs, and importantly, one in front of the needle, and of course one in the back. So you can immediately see, by having these 3 areas of traction, it's really kind of like a tank. It's like very evenly feeding your material through, not only grabbing it in front of the needle and bringing it straight and true, but also through the follow through. Accordingly, if I have one more sip of wine than I probably should, I still don't have to pay that much attention, because my machine is going to do the work for me. It's going to pull this straight and true. And again, because I have this single hole, I'm not going to have to worry about starts and stops that going to suck fabric into the abyss there, as they do on wider plates. Now this machine, I think I paid $100 for it, but it's now, I've had it now 2 years almost, and I haven't ever had to have it serviced, but I do have to oil it pretty frequently. It runs beautifully, and if any of you are afraid of buying vintage machines, please know that all of the parts are available. So many of these were made. You will not have any trouble finding feet for them or other needful things, to include motors. And they don't have a lot of moving parts, so you really can't break them. These are generational machines. Whatever you buy, it's gonna outlive you. This machine will outlive me. It was born before me, and it'll be around so long as the motor parts and stuff can still be had. And it is a rotary machine, which means the hook doesn't oscillate. It keeps spinning, and it makes the most beautiful stitches you can imagine. It also goes forward and backwards. Not all of them do. And I hope that if you're going to an estate sale and you see an older machine and maybe are afraid to get it, know that you can give it some more love. It can be a MVP in your sewing room when your fancy machine is in the shop. You can depend on this machine to keep piecing and do it accurately and enjoyably for you. I hope that gave you a little bit of insight on why I love my beautiful, serviceable, and hardworking Kenmore Rotary by White.